Hi, this is Dave Workman of Workman Associates, and I'm bringing you another Zoom interview with one of our individuals from Cass County, a very important individual. I started these programs as Cass County COVID Heroes, and it became apparent to me that it's really important for individuals out there who may not be able to have a chance to speak directly to some of the people that I've interviewed, get to hear them, because we have some excellent people in our community. And in fact, that's one reason I think we're headed in the right direction. And one person that I think has lead us in the right direction is the gentleman today, Mayor Chris Martin. Mayor Martin, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's great to be here. And I've got some questions for Mayor Martin. And I want to start off, first of all, Chris, do you mind if I call you Chris, or is it Mayor Martin?
Yeah,
or
no, that's fine.
Le Grand Fromage? I don't know what to call you, Mayor Martin, but I'll call you Mayor Martin. Why don't you give about a 30-second bio of you, who you are, and how you got to be where you're at?
Sure. Well, I was elected at 28, youngest mayor ever elected in the city of Logansport, and now I'm 29, and so things are getting closer to 30. And before obviously becoming elected, I ran for office, city council at large, back in 2011, and then ran for city council at large again in 2015. Both times facing a loss, and so I thought, third time's a charm. Either God's going to lead me in the direction of politics, or he's going to lead me in a different direction. So I trust in the Lord, and he directed me here. So I decided to run for mayor, and here I am. Before this, I worked at Bonavista as an employment specialist. Before that, I was a case manager at Fort County. And before that, I was a Sprint salesperson. So just your average Joe.
I like it. So what year did you? Now you're a Barry, correct? Logansport Barry.
Of course.
What year did you graduate?
Born and raised in Logansport. 2009. Yep.
So I got to tell you, one of the things that really has impressed me, folks, about Mayor Martin is that he's unabashedly not ashamed to discuss the Lord and how he got here. And so, Chris, thank you from someone who thinks that that's very important.
Thank you.
Let me start for you. So you've been a mayor for a while. What do you think the three biggest accomplishments of, not you, because you're you spread the positive results around. And
of course.
What would you say the three biggest achievements of your administration have been so far?
Well, I think with the experienced part of our administration, I think we were able to hit the ground running in the beginning. One thing that I did differently that some mayors have not is I kept the department heads. I kept most of our department heads because they had experience, and so that's something that's gone pretty well. We're 8 months in now, and so I would count that as an accomplishment, because we've been successful and been able to get along and show our skills with that. The completion of the Junction and the Hampton Inn, obviously just announced, and so being able to complete that was quite the accomplishment, especially for our administration. I mean, that the mall's been stagnant for quite some time, and so we were finally able to complete that. And then of course the completion of the West Market Street streetscape is about to come to an end. So we'll be able to have a brand new street there, as well as street lights and trees and sidewalks. So just being able to complete that as well. See, the thing is that your first year, being in an administration and replacing the guy before you or gal before you, is that you work off of, kind of what they were doing, right? So you don't have a lot of time to kind of create your own stuff and see it done within that first year. And so what we've done is we've just kind of continued some of those projects and made sure that it was done, because, it's not about myself or my predecessor. It's about the community. It's about the city of Logansport, and not who gets credit for what, but instead, what can we do for Logansport? And so that's what we've done.
That's outstanding.
Thank you.
What are some of the next goals? All right. So some of these other ones may have had a certain shadow of previous administration or administrations. What would you say are a couple of your goals as mayor of Logansport, divesting yourself of previous administrations?
Well, I'll tell you, the first thing that we want to do is get us through COVID-19. We want to get through this pandemic, worldwide pandemic first. But I made a comment in the paper. We talked about the 200-day plan, and really the plan for the rest of this year is to finish what we started. And so we did. We started some projects that I think you'll start to see come to fruition here, at least by the end of the year. And hopefully construction will start. And so then those are kind of our goals or things that we've been working on since January. And so really just finishing what we started. You got to take steps in the right direction. But Dave, one of the things that I've learned very quickly being in this position is government takes time. I mean, it takes so much more time than you realize. You got a plan, you know how to get it done, you got the funding, you got the support. But man, does it take time. Those steps and everything that it takes. You can start a project in January and you may not even see construction until the next year in the spring. That's how long government takes. So just really kind of finishing what we started this year.
That's great. What do you think? Are there one or two aspects of being mayor of Logansport that are the quote unquote most difficult parts?
I'll tell you, one of the most difficult parts, especially with the increase of social media and the ability to be able to voice your opinion a little more. One of the most difficult parts is negativity. So no matter what you do, it seems like there's always something negative to say from someone. But you've got a silent majority, a loud minority, and you just kind of keeping that in mind as you continue to go along. I always tell people, if I can leave the office at the end of the day feeling confident in my decisions, then I've done the right thing. And so and that's what you have to do, and you have to grow that thick skin and know that you're going to have negativity, but you just smile and explain why you made the decision and do the best you can. That's all you can do, really. And so that's probably the most difficult part.
And really going back to a decision that people asked you to make immediately earlier in the administration. And I was very impressed with the fact that you didn't, that you actually studied the situation. You didn't have a knee-jerk reaction. You didn't have to change your views because you took some time. And you're right, with social media, it's microwave answers. You want answers right now. And I thought that was really a feather in your bonnet, Mayor, that you took some time and you looked at both sides, that you hadn't made your mind up, and then you gave a very eloquent and decision. And I can see that if you continue that process, we'll be very successful at other decisions. People may not agree with them, but it's a great way to do it.
I appreciate that.
Well, what do you think is the biggest concern for Logansport in 2020, 2021?
I think the biggest concern, is something that local governments across the nation are facing right now, and that's budgets. Trying to figure out where we're going to be in the next 3 years, because we did have a worldwide pandemic, and it does affect what you do and what you see. And so that's something that I think that Logansport has done well in planning for, and going through the budget with the council and the clerk treasurer, and trying to figure out, okay, what can we do to help? How can we help, and how can we prevent cuts from really taking a really big hit towards the department heads? And so that's the biggest concern I think Logansport has, going into 2021. And Dave, here's the other thing that I think a lot of citizens may not understand is that with local government, our budgets are about a year behind. So what we collect from 2020, we may not see the actual results until 2022. So what we've seen in 2020, we may not see the results until 2022. And so that's why we meet with our financial advisors and try to figure out, hey, what are we looking at over the next 3 years? So, earlier in the year, we were predicted to have a $3 million shortfall over the next 3 years. And so just preparing for that and kind of getting there, that's the biggest concern. And I think you're going to see that throughout the entire country over the next 3 years.
Right. I agree. We do business in 29 different states and in different areas of Indiana rather. And the economy it's almost like nothing I've ever seen in the last 30 some years, where it is just really jumping in some spots. Some spots it's dead and won't ever come back, and then obviously somewhere in between. And so I'm sure that is a big consideration.
Yeah.
Now let's take a look at the glass half full. What do you think is the biggest opportunities for our city and county in the next couple of years?
You know, I say it all the time. Every time I give a speech, I always mention the snowball effect, and that's what we're going to see. I think over the next couple of years, regardless of those budget issues within our government, our local government, I think you're going to see a snowball effect from the economic development in 2020. You know, we've got the junction, right? The new hotel, the Nickel Plate and Panhandle connector being in downtown Logansport, the new streetscapes on West Market Street and 6th Streets. See, the puzzle pieces are coming together, you know, and we're really starting to see that. And I think, Dave, the biggest part of the reason why we're seeing such a big snowball effect is because I didn't come in and completely start over. I didn't come in and say, you know what, I'm not going to get credit for this, so I don't want to do it. You know, and I think that's the biggest part of our administration, and that's what we're going to stick to. You know, that's what we're gonna really kind of push for people to understand is, look, I didn't come in and clean house. You know, I came in and I said, you know what, I want experience. You know, I want these people to help me. I'm not a know-it-all. You know, I'm a listener. I like to listen, and I like to make the decisions based on factual information. And so that's why we're seeing that snowball effect, is because I'm one of those people. I just like to listen and know how to make a decision.
Well, I think that goes along exactly what I believe is Logansport's future. I try to tell folks, you know, we're not going to have this giant bonfire created by General Motors putting a plant here, Subaru putting a plant here. But if you get enough campfires going, it can put off the same amount of heat. You know, if you get Scott Johnson at Black Dog, if you get Natasha Walters at her yoga studio, if you get small businesses going, if you get Todd Miller going at Myers Spring and nurturing these businesses, and then you do have some sort of positive momentum. And I think that just goes right along with it, that you didn't stop the inertia, you just kept moving it forward, and now there is some momentum. I got to tell you, I've heard nothing but really, really almost incredulous responses about the junction, and the fact that the Hampton Inn was going in there. That was really a huge win. I mean, that just is a huge win. What can the average citizen not involved in politics, not a city councilman, not a county council, what can they do if they're not involved in politics to help Logansport move forward and grow?
Dave, I think there's two very important aspects to this, and if you talk to a lot of people throughout the community, they don't want to be involved in politics, right? They don't want any part of it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to be involved. And I think the biggest part is the negativity. You know, if you can help stop the spread of negativity, if you see something, say something, but also get involved. You know, we created the mayor's advisory committees, which is about 10 of them, for that reason. You know, we use the talents of the realtors, we use the talents of the artists, we use the talents of the youth, we use the talents of the diversity in our community, and when they all come together on these committees, you know, your average Joes working together to move a city forward, you're going to see those results. And guess what? The beautiful part is, you don't have to be a Republican, you don't have to be a Democrat, you don't have to be an independent, you don't have to be involved at all. Right? In any political party or any politics at all. It's just about making sure that your ideas are heard and you're doing it together as a group.
Is that Mayor, is that a finite number, 10? Or if somebody who's listening to this calls up your office and wants to get involved in that, can they?
Yeah, we have plenty of opportunities. You know, there's no limit to these groups. You know, so like I designate a chairperson, and then that chairperson pretty much just creates that committee. So, you know, Memi Renawans from NPR Realty is you know, the chairwoman for the realtors committee. And so, you know, so she goes out and she finds some other realtors in the community or other people that want to be involved, and she puts them together, and then they meet in the council chambers once a month, and we talk about things. In fact, one of the things that they've helped us with recently is the East End development. The housing development that we have going on the east end of Logansport. So, you know, just things like that. Them being able to have a voice in that says a lot, because they're realtors. They understand the housing market. They know what, the future may hold for the housing market in Logansport. So it only makes sense to get them involved. So yeah, 10 is not an exact number, no, but that doesn't mean it can't be,
Okay.
So
That's
so
that's
if anybody
great.
has any
As I
ideas.
said, I mean, I know her. There's other young, there's young attorneys that are coming back into town.
Yeah.
Look at Jake McCord at McCord's Do It Best. Young guy who's
Yes,
put his roots down. I think fifth generation or fourth. And so that's great. Well,
absolutely.
tell me something.
Yes.
What else would you like to say? What else would you like to say about your either your position or where you think we're going?
I'm very optimistic. I'm very optimistic about our future here in the city of Logansport, and I always talk about the puzzle pieces. The pieces of the puzzle being put together, and it takes a community. Today we talked about the nickel plate and Panhandle connector in downtown. But one thing that we talked about was passion for our community. Having that passion for your community is very important, very, very important. But also working together, collaboration, seeing different organizations working together, different people, different government entities working together to get something done it's essential, to making sure that our puzzle for the city of Logansport is put together, and it takes every single citizen, whether you think you're important or not, you are, because you have a voice. You see things that maybe someone else doesn't see. So it's always important to always express how you feel. Whether it's something I like to hear or not, I'm going to want to hear it, because I'm going to want to know what's going on in the city. What do you see? What do you want to see in our city, in our community?
That's that's great. I've tried to tell folks, Anderson, they don't care what's going on in Logansport. Kokomo doesn't. Rochester doesn't. And if we don't care, if we're rowing the opposite direction of the other person on the other side of the boat, we're not going to get anywhere. And so
Exactly.
that's a great attitude to take. Well, I'll tell you,
Thank
Mayor
you.
Martin, I'll let you go. I know you're a busy guy. I appreciate it very much. I wish you nothing but the best. We can't wait until this COVID is over. When that will be, nobody knows, but we just can't give up hope, and we got to keep doing what we can do to make Logansport a better place.
Yep.
Thank you
Just
so much
continue to
for your
stay
time.
6 feet apart.
What's that?
I said, just continue to stay 6 feet apart. We're good.
and wear a mask. So very
That's
good.
right.
Thanks so much, Mayor Martin. I look forward to talking to you at some time in the future.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, Dave. Take care.